So you might have £10. How you spend that £10 is up to you.
Hello, guys, and welcome to Money Talks. Our main topics today is how to overcome money mindset blockers. Today, we have here with us Lady Anne Welsh, distinguished entrepreneur, global advocate for sexual awareness, and best-selling author. Anne has becoming an inspiration for so many people, and I'm really, really grateful to have her here share a few thoughts with us about money. Welcome, Anne, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Absolutely a delight. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad to be here and to talk money, all the things we all need to know.
Dear Anne, can you tell me about your background and what were the money talks that you heard in your family as a child?
Okay, my background is that I'm originally from Nigeria, but I now live in the United Kingdom. So I've been living in the United Kingdom, well, for as long as possible. And growing up as a little girl, when I was back home in Nigeria, my father would always emphasize to us, he would always send us little quotes to us about money. He said, you have freedom of choice, but you don't have the freedom of consequences. So you might have £10. How you spend that £10 is up to you. But whatever the consequences will be from you spending all your £10 is what you have to deal with. And as a child, he would always reinforce those things to us, and I would never quite understand what he's saying. And now looking back, what he's meant is just that you have £10, you could spend it all on your sweets, or you could balance it and diversify, spend a little bit on sweets, a little bit on books, a little bit on saving, a little bit on other parts of whatever you need. And he's an accountant, and he will always reinforce that money aspect to us and always say it's always important to balance your account, make sure you're not heavily indebted. If you buy things, know what the consequences of those buying those things is, make sure you have enough. So those were always the tools. We will play games of money as well. The famous one we did is it's nothing special. We would just build up, everyone would just bring up a bunch of toys and we will make fake money. And my father would say, okay, these are a bunch of things. Tell me how you spend your money. So we will just play games like that. That's what I remember as a child growing up.
Oh, that's amazing, actually, that you had such a strong financial education as a child, and
Mhm.
your dad taught you to value money. How did this influence you as an adult to this age?
It changed my perspective. Initially, you question, why are you going through this with your father? Why do they want you to talk so much about money? So you wipe away all of those things, and especially when I was at university, and I got, you get your first money. My father then gave me money, saying, "Okay, now you're at university, you're entitled to manage your own money." That was difficult because I'm like, okay, this is now real life. I could do whatever I want to do with my money. And I remember the first year I would spend everything. And literally the first month, it will not go to day 3 of the month. Not everything is spent. And then I'll have to come back again, ask them for more money. And then I realized that I can't live this kind of life. I can't keep doing this. I have to really put some boundaries in my life. So over the years, I kept perfecting it, making it better. Even when you have kids, you have to try and look back into your money talks and say, okay, no, this is enough. I can't spend this much. Because I now have kids, I now have to think about them as well. So you readjust things accordingly. So over the years, my life has just been a one constant battle of learning. When you're an entrepreneur, learning that this job will require this amount of finance. Okay, but do I have enough? But the most important thing is constantly making sure you have savings that will last you for 2 years in case of emergency.
And I really love your saying that because, especially in some parts of the world, I noticed that there is this misbelief that people who are doing well financially, they don't really care about watching their spendings. And this is such a myth. I really know that. And I'm really grateful because you reinforced it here in what you shared. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, when you first started to earn your own money,
Mhm.
did you perceive money as being the final goal or whatever you were doing, or just a mean to grow?
Gosh, money has always been that thing for me as security. I see
Mm.
money to be secure, to be stable, and then you don't have other peace, and also to help others. I think because when you have, then you're able to give everybody, anyone else, whoever wants support for you, you're able to support their business, you're able to support someone who might be going through a tough time. So for me, money is about helping others. So the more I have, the more I'm able to give back. So I've never seen money or so let me make money so I could just be relaxed or just there. It's all about how can I make enough so I have so much and I could give back to those people who desperately need it because there's so many people out there who don't have. And that's my motivation. Every time I think about, let me make money, it's not about, okay, let me go shopping and buy all these lovely things or let me acquire so much. It's about how do I acquire so much and give back to those who extremely need it and can help them in ways that they might not be able to do it, and them themselves could be better people and give back to others as well. So that's my
And And this is amazing because I sometimes say to my clients that in order to be inspired to make money, you need also to have this higher vision around money
mm,
and see them not only as a mean for you to buy lifestyle and live well, which is important, of course, but also to have a higher purpose for it.
I agree.
Uh,
Yeah.
so thank you for sharing it. And about that, what are the specific behaviors around money that you constantly do and that you notice that are enforcing your prosperity and growth?
I think the most important thing is saving. You have to save. You really do have to save. And you have to also think about other ways to make money. You can't be
Mhm.
silent about that. You not because you're on one job, you think that's the end goal. You have to think about creativity. What can I do? And also, how do you charge for your work? You just don't do work and just expect nothing to come out of it. You should be bold enough and respect that you're putting in service, you're putting in a number of hours, and you should ask people for remuneration for what you do. Some of the behaviors I have adapted is being able to value my work and being able to ask people, okay, this is what I charge. And if you don't want it, it's okay. Let's go for it. But this is what I charge because time is money. And you have to balance both. And sometimes we don't realize that when you spend so much time on something, that time you could spend on doing other things. So rather than you doing that, why not balance it and spend your money on things that really matters, even if it's building your energy back up, even if it's whatever it takes, you just need that time. And just behaviors of saving, being realistic about it, not buying everything that comes out, be strict to yourself as well, because you just need to be very strict about what you do.
Yeah.
Mm,
And also, I really love this approach, and I live by it also. That when you
yeah,
put money in things that appreciate instead
yeah,
of things that depreciate in value,
yeah,
then you kind of say to the universe, I deserve to have more. Give
yeah.
me more money because I increase the value of the money I have. What have been some money mindset blockers that you've encountered in your life, and how did they manifest?
Some mindset blockers I've encountered in my life, I think, is going through tough times. I think those pain when you go through probably health challenges, which was my case, those have been a mindset blocker because then it tells you you can't do anything, you're not good enough, you are going to be constantly in that health situation, so you shouldn't go ahead and pursue your dream. So the way I've always overcome it is that once I feel better with myself, once I'm able to do things, I don't feel pity on myself. I don't feel like I'm not good enough. I always have to find out in me that I was good enough before. So I can't just say I'm not good enough now. So I try and believe in myself. I try and, get that again. Never easy, but I just try and every morning I start by waking up and saying, I'm grateful to be alive. No matter how much a bad dream I might have, no matter how much I think so negative the day might go. But I just say, look, so many people didn't wake up that morning. I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm here. That's the first why. So the mindset blocker then starts to, decrease. Then everything I start to do little things that I love. I have my coffee in the morning. If I'm the one taking my kids to school, I take them to school. I go for a walk. I talk to myself nicely. I try not to say negative things to myself. I try to and believe that everything I've put myself into, everything I've wanted, I would get because I'm that positive. I'm not going to say anything negative about myself. And if I set goals, I try to achieve them. I try to say, yes, I've set this goal for myself. I'm going to achieve it. Even though my mind might think, oh, that's so big, that nothing is too big. It's only as big as you want it to be. You just have to believe, because that's one of the things my health challenges has taught me is that as long as you're alive, as long as you're breathing, as long as you could stand, as long as you could walk, as long as you could do certain things, you cannot let those negative mindsets bother you. You just have to go for it in a positive way.
Amazing. I love that. As long as you're alive, then you can achieve anything.
Yeah,
Thank you for that thought.
you're welcome.
Now, I have a creative question for you.
Oh, good.
If money would be a person, a human being, how
Mm.
would that person would look like to you?
Oh gosh, human is a person who disappears. A human being who disappears. One minute they're there, the next minute they're not. Yes, that's what money would be to me. It's that kind of person, a person who's there, they're gone. Yes. So it
That's
will
really
be this
interesting.
invisible character, because I think money, what people don't realize, we have a lot, even though people in the very high net worth category, they have this ups and down with money.
Mhm.
There's always this ups and down. And I did investment management. I see how that was probably at, Lehman Brothers, and I saw the collapse of the bank. And you wonder, such a big institution like that could collapse. And then it tells you, or you look around in the high street today, you see so many businesses shutting down. And you wonder, what is the drive behind all of this wonderful businesses closing down? It's because money is invisible. Money, if not managed well, if not looked after, if not nourished, if not reviewed constantly, it disappears. It goes away. It doesn't stay there forever. So you have to nurture this disappearing person. That is not
Mhm.
there forever. You need to nurture that person. You need to look after it. You need to keep revisiting it. And when they're there, you really have to protect it, or else they disappear. They vanish. So that's what I would say. Money was a character. That's an invisible person is what I would character is what I'll put it.
Very nice. And I just listening to you, I got remembered a thought about what Warren Buffett is saying about money. And he says, like, professional investors are people who have the same emotions when they lose $1 million and when they win $1 million. As I
Yeah,
was just making the connection with what you said about money comes and goes, but you are the same. Like your value is still there, right? As
exactly.
a person.
Yes, yes. And you just can't lose your values, because if you lose your value in bad times, when the money's not there, you have a bad, you just can't get back up. So you have to just be the same person, be solid, be still, and get your energy again to make it back that money again.
Exactly. And appreciate other forms of wealth that we have. Like you mentioned, health. I think
Yeah.
that's a very important form of wealth that
Mm.
we tend to not appreciate so much because we focus so much on the money forms of wealth. And then we
Yes.
cannot see how wealthy we are in other areas of our life.
Yes, we forget that. We live in that bubble of just making, not might realize it. And that's where we get ungrateful when it goes down, because we've forgotten that there's other things to be grateful for as well.
Exactly. And what you said earlier, like, I'm grateful because I'm alive. That's a great resource, a great wealth I have,
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Now you are a very successful woman, and many young ladies look up to you and dream that one day they would have your same success and also financially. So, what are some advice that you could share about growing and managing a fortune for the people who are starting now?
I think the number one advice I would share is that you have to look at, okay, for example, if you're in the real estate market, you don't just always aim to buy things expensively. Also, with even if you want to buy tangible assets, like if you want to buy things like your bags, your things that, no, don't always aim to buy it very expensive. Always look for ways of getting things at a discount price, unless you're treating yourself. And I think that sometimes we don't realize how much money we waste. There are things that I would say that it's always good to support businesses, but always know, look in your own pocket and know if that month you could actually go to the restaurant, you could actually go shopping. Do things that not because other people are doing it or not because people on social media are posting their wonderful posts, because you don't know if they've paid for those meals. You don't know if they've, you don't know anything about it. So you have to do things that are within your own budget, that things that you really can afford and not be ashamed about it. I think it's one thing we tend to be ashamed about because there's so many
Mhm.
people on Instagram living this wonderful life. And we all think that everyone else is living that kind of life. But you don't know. Some people know how to post because they know how to borrow from their friends. They do that post, they send it back. And you are there thinking, crying in your own room, not realizing that you might actually be better off than that person. So it's learning to appreciate what we have is a very key vital thing for the success of money. Then, because when you start appreciating, then you start growing your own wealth. You start not doing things, oh, because this person is doing it. And then you probably haven't budgeted for that person, for that thing that that person is doing. Oh, is it going on holidays? Not because everyone else is going on holiday. It means you must go on holiday or other cheaper ways to do it. So you always have to look for the good value for money and
Mhm.
invest because we forget that life goes by so quickly. We get to a certain age, we've not invested as older people, and then we don't know how do we look after ourselves when we're older because we can't work anymore, we can't do this, and there's no money coming in. So you always have to think about, am I investing enough for when I get older? And the most important one, I think, is just be kind to money, be kind to yourself. Because when you're kind to yourself, then you see money and you're able to multiply money. Look for good investment. When you're kind to yourself, you're able to see big opportunity coming by and take risks. People might say, why? Take risks in investment. If there's an opportunity, take risks. You never know. That could be the next best thing out there. If there's an opportunity you see out there that might bring something, you might lose it all, but you might have to take a little bit of risk. Don't just be so shy of risk. Take a little bit of risk in building your portfolio. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And yes, I totally, I'm aligned on that value part. Don't try to meet social pressure and live in other people's values because you see they value fashion, so you need to go to buy out an expensive purse. Just spend on things you love and also take care for saving and building wealth. I think this is a really important concept to use, and thank you for sharing it.
You're
And
welcome.
now, because we're approaching the end of our nice talk, I have one more question. What is your highest purpose in life, and what is the role of money in it?
Honestly, I think I've answered this one before. My highest purpose in life is really helping and giving back to others. And the purpose of money is for me to make money. I keep making it and keep giving back to others because I believe I'm here. That's my purpose. My purpose is that I want to make money, but I want to give, I want to serve. There's so many people out there, so many people who are living in, probably because I come from Nigeria and I've seen so many places where people are absolutely in dire need. I want to help those people, but I can't help those people by not having enough myself. I need to have overly enough so I could keep giving back. And that's my highest purpose. And this is something I strive for every day when I wake up in the morning, is to see what I could keep doing. And also when I think about my family as well, so it's to give them the best. But at the same time, I don't want to spoil my family. So I just give them the bare minimum so they could just get by. And because I think when you spoil your family, when you spoil your kids, it's very difficult to reverse because then they go into all sorts of things. They go into court or go into drugs. And it's something I just don't want them to do. I want them to have that desire so they could keep that legacy that I want to do, the giving back to others and keep working and keep giving back rather than keep working to do things that are kind of illegal that would destroy their health, where they don't will not even live past a certain age. That's my highest purpose in life. It's just to keep
Amazing.
working and keep giving back. Yes.
Serving people. I think
Yes.
that that's a beautiful purpose. And also, I love that you mentioned this balance between support and challenge when you
Yeah.
help others and you give to others, because I think it's important to give and help them, but also leave a bit of challenge for them to also develop that sense of wanting more, being inspired to also do themselves. Because if you only give, at one point they will stop. They will start waiting for others to come and save them. So I
Yes.
love that you said that.
Yeah, because you just don't want to teach them how to fit. You don't want to give them the fish, but you also want to teach them
Yeah.
how they could go fish themselves. So they could go one day, and now you give them a certain amount of time and say, look, you could go out there and go fish yourself and do it yourself and make it work. Yes.
Amazing. This was so inspiring.
Mhm.
I'm really, really happy that you shared so many interesting and inspiring thoughts here with us and the people who are going to see this interview. And guys, I hope you are as inspired as I am. Thank you so much, and for sharing this and being here. And thank you so much for you guys for watching this. And I see you at the next episode.